What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'll talk about some very key levels to watch for as time goes on, and the big things affecting the markets as we have some stuff that came out involving Donald Trump, not to mention more data at 10 o'clock a.m. Just know that I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing that way. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000 and you're guaranteed at 30. Not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, as far as the market's going, we're making lower highs and lower lows for now. SPY is a bit more bearish for the time being, but whether or not we get a bounce or a big dump depends on two main factors. Number one, we had Donald Trump's speech. He did talk a lot about his tariffs, how he's very much fixated on setting in reciprocal tariffs and increasing more tariffs. He did mention, however, that his tariffs will cause a disturbance, a small disturbance for the short term, but he said that it's going to be worth it. That's what Donald Trump said in his speech yesterday. And then what else is interesting is, even though he's so fixated on, adding these tariffs, which might not be the best for the markets for now, possibly causing a small dip, I do want to say that the Commerce Secretary of the United States came out and he's saying that Donald Trump might scale back on the Canadian and Mexican tariffs as soon as today. They might end up announcing a compromise, and that could cause a very big shift, right, within the markets. So we'll see about that. Will we get some kind of compromise? Is Donald Trump going to announce something? What's going on with that? We'll talk more about that maybe later on. And then on top of this, just know that this is making a lot of headlines right now, all the tariff talk. Donald Trump went on about the reciprocal tariffs and he went on about other things. So just keep in mind that's like the main thing right now that's affecting the markets. Number two, what's going to affect the markets is for today, it's Wednesday, March 5th at 9:45 a.m. That's 15 minutes after the stock market opens. 9:45 is Eastern Standard Time. We have the S&P Global Composites and Services PMI reports. This may cause volatility, so get ready for that just to be safe. Then at 10 o'clock a.m., we have the ISM services employment, new orders, prices. All this data is going to be coming out. This will give us insights about how inflation is looking. Is inflation going up for the services sector? What's going on with the employment for the sector and business activity? And what is this looking like, at least for all this data? It's also going to give us more insights on how supply and demand are looking at a bunch of different things. So it's very important data at 10 a.m. That's going to cause a very big move. The market's either going to see a temporary pump or a big rug pull, so get ready at that specific time, guys. So 15 minutes after the stock market opens and 30 minutes after open, 10 a.m. is going to be the main time. Look for some volatility. Now, with that being said, for earnings, just real quick, there's nothing too crazy coming out. We just have Foot Locker in the morning. Then later on, we just have more retail. But then I do want to mention Costco announces earnings tomorrow. Anyways, going back to the markets, we are still looking a bit more bearish on SPY as we're making lower highs and lower lows. When you zoom out of the trend, that is what this is essentially giving us. And there's going to be a risk of us seeing some kind of dip move, I would say, when we open. So make sure you guys are ready for that. I don't think we're done yet, especially after some of the topics that Donald Trump covered in his speech from yesterday. However, as time goes on, there's going to be additional catalysts that could be affecting us. So when the data comes out at 10 a.m., we'll have to see, does that cause a big dump or a pump? And we'll have to see what happens with Donald Trump's speech that's also coming up. So make sure you guys keep all of that in mind. So we'll talk about that. Let's break down these levels just to be safe. So as far as the market's going, I'm going to be watching to see if SPY could form a base very close to that 572 area. There might be a retest of that zone just based off these technicals alone. And then if that does end up being the case, we'll be watching to see if we get a bounce at least very close to that level. So keep that in mind. That's going to be very important for us. Looking at SPY specifically, we're going to see if we form some kind of divergence, but if we bring back these levels, you will see that we have this blue trend line right over here where the low was. So if we do get a rejection, we could be coming back down towards this low here. We'll see if we get some kind of bounce move or not once we test that. So I'll be watching that very close to where this low is. We could be dipping close to that. And we'll see if some buyers return to try to get us back above this trend line like this. You want to see SPY break past 585 to see a rebound. If we break this, then we're going to be looking bouncy. And if we lose 572, I'm going to be looking for our daily 200 EMA all the way down here around 569. We also have support 568 to watch for all the way down here. So basically, what could happen is there's going to be another dip move coming, most likely, looking at the technicals. We do favor that. However, even if we do get this dip move upon open, whether we get a bounce or not depends on this data. It also depends on if Donald Trump announces a deal with Canada and Mexico. It all depends on these different factors. Expect a small dip upon open, and we'll see if we get a bounce or not. My suspicion is that we're going to be basing between 568 to 572. uh, we'll see if we hold the support in that range, and we'll see if we get some kind of nice rebound back above 585 from there. We'll see, just to be safe. But just for now, look for a downside move and see where we end up basing. Okay. Looking at the QQQ, it's the same thing. We're making lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows over and over again. And I just want to say that for the QQQ, you want to see it reclaim like 506 for an attempt to rebound. For now, we're looking for a dip move to about 492 or below, and then we'll see if we can make if we're forming a divergence. As you can see, the MACD is trending upwards. If we lose this low, we're looking for 490 to see if that holds. If not, we could dip a little bit below that towards like 485, and then we'll see if we get some kind of bounce or not, right? If we get some kind of rebounds about 506 or so. So we'll see. We'll see if we get some kind of rebound. For now, we're looking for this dip, a little bit of a dip right here towards 492, and then we'll see if buyers defend us. Can we make a higher low, or do we lose this low to form a divergence? Either way, I do suspect a bounce move is coming soon, whether we get a big dip or not. So keep that in mind. The Russell 2000 is making lower highs and lower lows. We could be revisiting very close to where these lows are right here. I do think there's going to be a dip move coming. Watch 202 to 204. If that fails us, then 200 is coming. We need to see if we can make a higher low. If not, we could be just forming a divergence. And once we break this yellow or this white trend line, if we do get back above 208, that's when we're looking for some kind of bounce move, right? But overall, the trend is still a bit more bearish, making lower highs and lower lows. So look for some kind of dip upon open, and we'll see how the services data affects us. On ES, we're also making lower highs and lower lows. I do want to mention that ES is going to likely try to dip all the way back down towards 57.50. We could even try to dip below that, so it might drag SPY lower, but we'll see if this divergence ends up forming for us to try to get some kind of rebound soon. We want to see this thing reclaim at least 5,900. If we do that, then we're looking for some kind of bounce. For now, this is what we look like. We're a little bit more bearish for now. This could dip a bit more, and we'll see if we form a nice base on ES or not. For other pieces of news, we have NQ. It's also a bit more bearish, but you want to see it bounce. You want to see it break 20,637 to bounce. I do suspect that this might dip a little bit. So you guys can see we have this low right here at 20,300. If we can make a higher low, that's going to be a good sign for us to rebound and break resistance. If we lose this low, we could dip a little bit first, closer to the blue trend line. Then we'll see if we bounce. Just keep that in mind. We'll be watching these levels very closely just to see. There's going to be some kind of dip here, all the way down to like 20,300 or so, and we'll see if some buyers defend or not. For Bitcoin, we're making higher lows right now. As long as we don't lose 88,000, we're going to be okay. We're looking for 93,000 as a potential target if we continue to bounce from here. I do anticipate a little downside move like this on Bitcoin, but as long as we don't lose this yellow trend line, we're technically trying to uptrend, which is a good sign so far. So as long as we don't lose like 80, around this like 83,000 area, we're going to be okay. On Nvda, we have to see, will Nvda make a higher low or a lower low? It all depends. We're making we're making lower highs and lower lows, but you want to see if Nvidia could base here and then try to get a rebound. Can we hold this low around 112, or do we end up losing it? We're going to be looking at our fib level just to be safe, but that's what I'm essentially looking for, just to be safe with this target. So it might be a dip move before it tries to continue. Tesla's going to be dippy because their German sales are not the best. It might be a small dip on Tesla, and we'll see if we bounce or not, depending on our data release. Will we get a bounce from here and make a higher low, or do we lose 262 and then start filling the gap to about 252? I'll be watching that very closely. If 262 fails, let's look for a bigger dump to the 250s. If we end up bouncing, you want to see us essentially make a higher low and try to get back above like 285-ish for a rebound. So I'll be watching this very, very closely. For Apple, we're kind of stuck right now. Not looking too good. We have this yellow trend line acting as support. We're shuffling right now. We have to see if we could reclaim this trend line or not. Might see a dip move to like 235, and we'll see if we get a bounce from there. As long as we can try to make higher lows, then we could attempt for the rebound. So just keep that in mind. For coin, we're also in the middle forming a double bottom right now. So it's actually a pretty decent looking trend right here. If we could break past 230, we're looking for a rebound. This double bottom is looking decent. On Amazon, we're trying to make a bullish divergence. So I just don't want to see this lose 200. There's going to be a dip coming. Look for a dip, and we'll see if we bounce off our support near 202. Meta, same thing, might be dipping closer to like 635, and we'll see if we get a bounce. We're forming a bullish divergence, but it depends on if we can make a higher low or not to reverse. Look for a dip closer to the 630s, and we'll see if we get buyers to defend us and get us back above 657 to bounce. For now, look for that dip, and we'll see how well we hold up. Same thing with Microsoft. You want to see if we could hold around 385. If that could hold, we're going to be looking for a bounce for 393. Look for a small dip, and we'll see what the reaction is. Google's on a downtrend, so we could be looking for a dip back down towards the 170 area, and we'll see if buyers defend. So that being said, guys, get ready for this data at 10 o'clock a.m. We have the ISM services reports. It's going to cause a lot of volatility, so give this the time it needs. With that being said, I thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll be back with another upload in just a couple of hours. So get ready. We'll see how the data ends up looking. The market looks a little dippy so far. Might be a dip move coming, but then we'll see where we end up basing. And can the market make a higher low to reverse? My view of the market is that there could be a little bit more downside, but I do think there's going to be a bigger bounce coming soon, even for SPY and the others. We'll see about that, but that's what I'm anticipating for now. Anyways, that's it for this one. Have a good one, and peace out.